You're listening to the Wear, Wag, Repeat podcast, the only show 100% dedicated to highlighting women in all areas of the pet industry. I'm your host, the founder of Wear, Wag, Repeat, Tori Mystic. And if you are listening today, I encourage you to come check out my YouTube channel because now my podcast is a video podcast. And I am all cozied up on the couch in my office with my dog, Bert, sitting next to me. So if you want to come and check this episode out on YouTube, you can find my channel. It's listed under Tori Mystic. You could also search Wear, Wag, Repeat podcast, and you'll easily find it, and it'll feel like you are hanging out with me and we are chatting together on my big blue couch in my office. So welcome to the show. I'm really happy to have you here listening or watching for today's topic. So today I want to bring you sort of a timely episode. You might have seen if you're on social media and if you're watching this live, that right now in Florida is the Global Pet Expo. It is one of the largest pet industry trade shows in the country, perhaps in the world, and it is happening right now. The kind of sister trade show, they're not related at all, but maybe like stepsister trade show is SuperZoo, and that happens in August in Las Vegas. And I've attended SuperZoo several times, and I've been a speaker at SuperZoo, and I've never attended Global Pet Expo. And in this episode, I am going to share with you some of the considerations for why you should or should not go to these big pet industry trade shows. It really kind of depends on you and your business. So I'll walk you through my decision-making process, and you can kind of see how it applies to you. And then I'll share with you what I am doing instead and what you might want to consider doing instead as well. So let's dive into it. First of all, these major pet trade shows like SuperZoo and Global Pet, they are trade shows. They are specific to the pet industry, and they're specifically for retailers and brands/vendors to connect and get to know each other. It's for retailers to see the latest products, the latest innovations, and hopefully place orders for inventory that they're going to carry in their stores, either in person or online, or however they're going to do this. So I think that's a really important consideration to keep in mind. I think that through social media, we get a lot of FOMO, and we see all these people are at these events, and there's these cool booths, and there's dogs there and cats there and all kinds of cool stuff. And sometimes you see people leaving with all this swag, or they might have this giant haul of a suitcase full of free stuff they got at these trade shows. But you really want to keep in mind that the purpose of these events is for retailers to connect with brands. And the brands who are there, their main purpose there, why did that sound weird to me? I feel like I was saying porpoise. Their main purpose at these trade shows is to get purchase orders. They want to make sales. They need to justify the cost of attending an event like this. It's very expensive for these brands to go to SuperZoo and Global Pet. Not only do they need to pay those events for their actual booth space, and some of them have a double or triple size booth, but they also need to actually build out the entire booth. It's usually a custom build with custom furniture, custom signage. They need to bring all of the samples and all the products. They need to pay to ship it there. They usually need to pay someone to come and set it up for them. Sometimes there are costs built into the venue where you need to actually pay the venue's staff people and maintenance people to clean up and set up your booth for you. So there's a ton of costs, not to mention the actual people they need to have at the event. So when you think about it, these people really need to make sales at this trade show in order to make it worthwhile for them. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is if you are a content creator or an influencer and you think you're going to go to these trade shows and you're going to land all these brand deals and you're going to make all these great connections, you might make really great connections with these brands, but it's really important to keep in mind that you need to respect the fact that these brands are trying to make sales, and that this event might make or break their business for the year, and that their top priority might not be talking to content creators and influencers. So I think that's just a really important bit of context to give when you think about attending these shows. Again, we see so many posts on social media that make it seem so glamorous and you get all this free stuff. It's almost like you're a celebrity getting a swag bag at an awards show or something like that. But the reality is that a lot of the brands there, this is their livelihood and they depend on that. And so as content creators, we need to be respectful of that at events like this. However, you might make a lot of really great connections with brands there, but those are not the only connections to be made. So one of the other potential benefits of attending a big show like this is networking and connecting with other industry people, not just the brands, but at these events, there's also tons of PR people, PR people who work with the brands who might be able to set you up with a more long-term arrangement or give you some insider insight on some new launches or something like that. You could also connect with marketing reps, pet industry service providers like marketing people, photographers, social media people. Who knows who you're going to meet? And you're also going to meet some of your peers. So if you are a content creator and there are other content creators there, you would be able to kind of connect with people in person who you might have known online for years. I know that when I went to SuperZoo the last time, which was a couple of years ago, it was really cool for me because I've had this podcast for over 5 years and I've interviewed hundreds of women in the pet industry. I was walking the show floor and I was like, hey, I had you on my podcast. Hey, I had you on my podcast. Hey, I know you. I recognize your face. Where are you from? Oh yeah, you're from my podcast. And it was really, really cool to see in person all these people who I had been talking with virtually and on social media for so many years. So it really is a good way to kind of get your face out there, remind people that you exist if you've already put in some of the groundwork of networking. I haven't really been in a situation where I've gone to these events and not known anyone. So I think if you're completely new, I would recommend that you be really strategic about this. It's expensive to attend these shows. You might get a free media pass, but you're going to have to pay for transportation, hotel, meals, all kind of other incidentals. So I would be super strategic about this and start networking virtually 3 months in advance before the show so that you're setting yourself up for success. Remember, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. So I wouldn't just on a whim go to one of these events and not have a plan going into it because I just don't think that you're going to get the most out of it. So networking opportunities can be really great. You might also get some really cool industry insights. So a lot of these events have some special like innovation lane or brand new startup program section, I don't know. And they might feature really cool, innovative, new startups or small niche brands or independent brands and products in those areas. Sometimes there's an area for like new product launches. So even established brands can feature their new and innovative products in a certain area. So you can get some industry insights, maybe get a little preview of what's going to be really popular in the pet world in the coming year. And if you are a content creator, this could kind of serve you as you plan your affiliate linking strategy, your content strategy, and it might inform some of the brand partnership outreach that you want to do after the show. So again, I don't really think that these shows are the place to be pitching yourself for brand partnership deals, but it's a good place to get some insights, start making a plan, start seeing what people are excited about, and maybe you can collect some business cards and keep in touch with people after the fact to kind of try and follow up on those partnerships. And then lastly, the other benefit is exposure for your brand. So if you are documenting this event and your attendance there, it can kind of raise your expertise and your clout online to show your audience that you are invested in staying on top of the trends in the pet industry. And, depending on who you run into at these events, snap a couple selfies, post them online. You could say, hey, look, I was with whoever, whatever big name it is that you happen to meet there. And it really could help to raise your authority online if you are able to authentically share that you are in the room with all of the top movers and shakers in the pet industry. Now, those are some of the benefits. I want to also cover some of the considerations before attending, not necessarily cons, but just questions that you want to ask yourself. So I want you to ask yourself before you go to one of these big events, And I know I've been talking a lot about pet content creators and influencers, but this applies if you are a photographer, a small treat or bandana or collar maker, if you have your own small independent online store, if you are a dog trainer, whoever you are, if you are doing consulting services like social media management or web design or graphic design, whatever your business is, I want you to consider before you book your ticket to Global Pet Expo or SuperZoo this year, is this going to serve your unique business goals? Okay, is going to this event going to serve you and your goals right now? So you kind of got to take a little step back and make sure that you know what your goals are. For me right now, my number one goal is growing Wear, Wag, Repeat Society. I am 100% committed and invested in getting more members in my membership Wear, Wag, Repeat Society. And I know that I don't think any of my members are at Global Pet Expo this week. So for me, I look at this and I'm like, okay, I don't think my target audience necessarily is attending Global Pet Expo. My audience is usually solopreneurs, people who are growing their pet business independently on their own. They're not retailers and they're not the big 6-figure, 7, 8-figure brands. So if you are someone who wants to work with the big retailers or even independent retailers and the big brands, then your audience is there. But for me, my audience is not there. So I know that attending Global Pet Expo right now would not serve my business goal of growing Wear, Wag, Repeat Society. So ask yourself, what exactly is your goal right now? And is this actually going to serve you and help you reach it? The other consideration, this is a big one, is the cost. So attending these shows, you might get a free media pass, or a brand might give you a pass to the show. That's kind of a good little workaround. Sometimes if you know a brand really well, you can say, hey, do you have any extra passes to Global Pet or to SuperZoo? I can come and I can document the whole event for you. And they might kind of slide you an extra pass. You could volunteer to work at their booth for a little bit or help them set it up maybe and get a free pass that way. But if you don't get a free pass from a brand or through a media pass, you are going to have to pay for one. And that could be $1,000. Plus, you're going to have your hotel, your flight, if you're driving, your gas and everything, your meals. Usually at these trade shows, they happen at huge convention centers, and the only food available on site is really overpriced hot dogs and chicken fingers. So are you willing to invest your hard-earned money in attending an event like this? Is it going to pay off for you? So think like a CEO here, just like these brands and vendors who are going and they know they have to justify the cost of attending a big trade show like this with purchase orders and sales and relationships. As a small content creator or a small business attending a show like this, can you justify, how are you going to earn back? What's the return on your investment of attending an event like this? So make sure that you are going to get your money's worth before you go to something like this, because it can really get expensive. Now, the third thing I want you to consider before booking your ticket to any of these big pet trade shows is, do they align with your brand values? So if one of your brand values is sustainability, and that's really important to you, I want you to look at these different trade shows and events and see, are they actually walking the walk and talking the talk? Are there sustainable brands for you to meet there? But is the event itself sustainable? Do they have sustainable practices? So you want to make sure it's in alignment with your own values. If something that's really important to you is, being really global and interconnected to people all over the world, does this event have a lot of international brands? Is there an international section where you can connect with people? Maybe you're bilingual and you really want to meet a lot of brands that are Spanish speaking or Italian speaking or French or whatever it is. You want to see, are they walking the walk? Are you going to be able to meet some of the brands and the people that align with your business values? If one of your values is diversity, are you seeing in the event promotions a lot of diverse faces and diverse viewpoints? And if you're not seeing that, it might be a good clue that this event does not align with your brand values, and you might want to invest your time and energy and money elsewhere. So that brings me to, what is elsewhere? What am I doing other than that? If I'm not attending these big trade shows anymore, I went to SuperZoo a couple of times and it was a great experience. I am very thankful that I went, and it was really cool, especially to be a speaker there. I spoke on a panel with Dr. Adam Christman, and it was really cool to connect with him. He's the nicest person. He was really, really awesome to get to know. And I love seeing my industry friends face to face, but weighing the cost, and also weighing, is it going to serve my business goals right now? I have determined that it is not worthwhile for me to attend Global Pet Expo or SuperZoo in the near future. Maybe one day it will be, but right now it isn't. So what's a girl to do? What am I going to do instead? So what I have found to be really rewarding and successful for me is attending really small niche industry events. So there are a ton, you can Google this, there's tons of small conferences and summits and gatherings of very niche pet industry groups. So there's small conferences for pet sitters or dog walkers. There's small conferences for pet photographers. There are small conferences for positive reinforcement dog trainers or holistic pet wellness experts. And I find that attending these really small niche events, they usually have like 100 to 200 people attending them. And that's really different than 10,000 or 20,000 people attending these big shows. I like attending these little small ones where there's just a couple hundred people there. I feel like I can actually talk to every single person there. Or if I'm not talking to every single person, I can actually have longer, more in-depth, meaningful conversations with a smaller group of people because I'm not feeling rushed, like I gotta get to this other booth, I gotta run across the convention center. Usually these things just take place in 1 or 2 rooms in a smaller hotel. They're usually in smaller cities, smaller markets, so they're more affordable to attend. And you can probably find some that are in driving distance of you. So I have found quite a few in driving distance from me, and it's been really fun for me to go as a speaker or as an attendee. But lately I've been a speaker at a lot of these events, which is very lucky. I love doing that. I love getting on stage and talking and getting people excited about digital marketing for their pet business. And those events have been really rewarding for me. I'm definitely seeing the ROI. People from those events join my programs. They follow me online. We stay connected. And not to say that that doesn't happen with some of the people at SuperZoo or Global Pet, but I just feel like I get deeper connections when I'm in a smaller, more intimate group. So these are the types of events that I am looking to get more involved in this year. In person is great, but I think there's also a lot of great virtual events and ways to get in front of these niche audiences virtually, because not everyone actually has in-person events. Finally, I want to kind of turn this over to you, and I want you to ask yourself, is it going to be worthwhile for you to attend a really big trade show? If you're having a little bit of FOMO this week, I want to encourage you instead of FOMO, think WBFY. What's best for you? That doesn't really roll off the tongue. Woobify. It's not the same as FOMO, right? So I don't think that's going to catch on. But I do want you to always consider what is best for you and your goals and your business. We don't necessarily have to do what we feel like everyone else is doing. And sometimes what you see on social media is not necessarily what is happening in person and in real life. So always consider what's going to serve you and your needs and your goals and what's going to be in alignment with your values and your mission. So I invite you to share your thoughts with me. I want you to reach out to me on Instagram at WearWagRepeat, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment right below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'm doing these video podcast episodes every Wednesday now. I've been recording my podcast for over 5 years. I think this is episode 344 or 345. I have to look when I publish it. But that's a whole lot of episodes, girl. So I have a lot of archive episodes for you to check out. But I am starting to make them all video format, which I am really excited about. And I'm excited about growing my YouTube channel by doing this as well. So reach out to me. Let me know, would you attend SuperZoo or Global Pet? Have you attended it in the past? And what did you think? Would you want to go back? Or would you consider going to some of these smaller niche events And hey, while you're at it, do you know of a small niche event that I should be attending this year? Reach out and let me know, because that's definitely the kinds of places that I want to be in 2025. So thanks again for listening to this episode. Like I said, I will be back here next Wednesday with another fresh episode. And if you are interested in learning more about growing your pet industry business online and getting discovered by the pet parents who really need what it is that you have to offer, that's exactly what we do in Wear, Wag, Repeat Society. That is my monthly membership. You can learn all about it at wearwagrepeat.com/society. We are getting ready to do our monthly implementation call next week, and I'm really excited to hop on Zoom for 90 minutes with my members to share a quick lesson with them to help keep them advancing their skills of online marketing and growing their pet business. We're also going to have time for some mastermind style hot seats. And then at the end of each of these implementation calls, we do them once a month. We always do them at the beginning of the month, and we set our to-dos for that month. And I write them all down, and I check in with you throughout the month to make sure that you are staying accountable and staying on track for your goals, because it is very easy to get distracted these days. So if you want to learn more about that and join us, it's a really wonderful group of people. It's a lot of women, but there are a few guys in there, so everyone is welcome. And again, like I said, you can learn more at wearwagrepeat.com/society. When you go to that page, there is a button for a 2-week trial. If you want to come try it out just for 2 weeks, now is the perfect time to do that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you back here next week.